here for the winner's match of the Fast Lane. The last chance for some of these members to make it up into Premier or to fall into Challenge of SSL Series.
That's right. And our first player that will be moving into SSL Season 2 of Premier will be decided in this best of 3. Maru, of course, started in Premier. His spot is in contention. Even if he loses this one, he will have one more chance, of course, against either Bjorn or Patience after the loser match is decided. But he would like to take the fast lane of the fast lane in the winner's match.
Get out in the winner's match and just sail on by, or rather I should say fly by Classic. But I think this is going to be a really close match. I think either Maru or Classic could take it. We were talking about this during the break. We think Classic is like the slight favorite because... And the only reason for that, I think, is because Maru, he just hasn't really shown his consistent, strong performance against Protoss recently, especially as recent as the last time he played on Monday against Deer when he lost to Deer, and it was not pretty.
No,
so,
it was a little bit ugly.
Yeah, it was, you don't really want to look that.
It's like when I watched the series, I wanted to, like, just wipe my monitor off with, like, some wet tissues, you know? Like, just
it's like, oh, what's that dirt on the monitor? Ugh.
It was dirty,
just
but
get that away.
It was dusty. Like, you know, look, the point is, Maru definitely has made some uncharacteristic mistakes. Looks weak in the matchup right now. Classic has always had, in Legacy of the Void, a very strong PvT. In SSL specifically, too, when you look back at his results versus Terran in 2016, looked really, really strong. So I favor Classic, but only slightly, right? He looks good on the day, too. Today, in the best of 3, it really felt like he won the series 3-0 in terms of the impression that he left, especially in Game 2 when he lost. He was so behind for so long, made a large comeback, and still nearly won the game, down, what, 60 army supply, losing in a terrible fight with a failed Immortal Lifts. But he came back, and he looks to be in form. He really wants this. He's had the GSL last season. He's fought his way through, not able to make the Premier last time, but he could be the first player of tonight's group that was in Challenge that moves into Premier this evening. All it's going to take is one win in this best of 3. Or sorry, what? 2 wins in this best of 3.
He's just got to win one map. No, the map list is going to be Daybreak, Newkirk Precinct, and Abyssal Reef. First time we will be seeing Daybreak tonight. And that was both these guys' choices, actually. A little bit more favored there by Maru. But either way, let's jump into game number 1 right now. Fly better fly, Jinair. Thanks, Jinair. I love you. Up in the top right, in the blue, it's Maru. Terran player.
Also a Jinair player.
Yeah.
So yeah, special love for him. Down at the bottom left.
No bias. Hashtag no bias.
Hashtag no bias. It's Classic. In yellow. So, this is a very important match for these two. One that, you know, we've seen a lot back throughout the history of StarCraft 2 since Pro League, really, over these two faced off quite often in that league and in the higher parts of many, many tournaments. So, Maru played this. This is a map he played against Deer on, with one of the sloppier of all the games that we saw.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of his attack on the third base, we'll see if he decides to repeat that performance. Classic, no doubt, reviewed those games and come in very wise today to the tactics that we've seen from Maru so far. We'll probe scout here to identify early on. The reason why the crowd is cheering is because basically the Korean commentators are doing Tastosis cast in terms of joking around quite a bit. So
seem to be pretty successful
laugh
with that as well. I think those guys have some good camaraderie going on. The TriCast.
Yeah. We'll cast together for all of Challenge. So Reaper's coming out here. Everything is standard in the early game. So perhaps if I had thought of it earlier, I would have been making jokes during this early game as well. But CC gets dropped down there, and we will see the SCV Scout come across, come around the map. And it is going to be a pretty standard setup here. The question now becomes, What sort of tech will Maru go into? The factory's already been planted, so question answered. There'll be a quick tech up here. Reactor, so everything is the norm.
Yeah, just gas first, Reaper expand. Nothing to see here. Move along. Wolf's monitors jumping all over the place.
That's why we're pausing the commentary. The monitor's doing a little bit of the flickety flick. Seems to be pretty normal. I've seen worse flickering, okay?
The flickety flake.
Yeah.
Flaky little monitor.
Don't be a flake.
Yeah. And we got Stargate here from Classic, and it's in the base. I don't remember the last time we've seen either Classic or Dearly proxy these Stargates on this map. I don't know why.
It feels like with the Stargate proxy, it's high risk, high reward, but if you take this approach, it's low risk, still like medium to high reward, because the Oracle's always going to be strong, and you're really buying just a few more seconds with the Oracle. Let's see how this matches up. Let's see if Maru has the tools prepared by the time this gets across the map. If he does, then if he's had it for a while, it'll be like, okay, well, this wouldn't have changed anything, but if he just barely has them out, then yeah, the proxy would have been better. The Widowmine already being on the way here, and the Viking, I feel like because this was not proxied, he's definitely going to have a hard time to find massive damage with this. He's already going to put some pressure on with these two Hellions. Adepts are in position. Good shade position here as well to be able to jump on them immediately as they have a faster move speed than the Adepts. 2 probe kills. Reaper comes in the main though. 3 kills.
This is the new Maru build against Protoss. He does this all the time, and look at how much damage it's getting. I mean, just 2 Hellions and a Reaper, already a full scout. 3 probe kills, maybe even more.
Looking for that fourth?
A huge pull as well. Lots of weakened probes. He was actually microing his Hellions a little bit better.
With a proxy, he may have been able to get like 1 or 2 SCB kills with that Oracle, I feel, with the timing of the Viking coming out and the Widowmaker,
Whoa.
Overwatch cast and bleeding in.
We both done that once tonight.
Widowmine coming out.
Ooh.
So, Widowmine in position. There's the kill on the Oracle.
Sniped out of the sky.
So,
as Widows do.
Do they though?
Apparently in Blizzard games. I think that's just the way it goes.
1 shot, 1 kill. No.
Exactly.
That's what the Widowmine says when it burrows. It's like it's trying to say 1 shot, 1 kill, and it goes into the ground, as is the Blizzard dialogue way.
Well, this drop of 2 Widowmines is coming in. I don't think Classic has any idea. The Mothership Core is at the 3rd base. Here we go. No pull. Oh, boy. This is going to be juicy. 8 kills.
Very juicy. So Maru now takes a worker lead as a Terran against Chrono Boost. And we'll have the Mule advantage on top of that. It's very swift tech up to Stim, Combat Shields, the +1. Going to have Medivacs out here pretty soon. And with more missile turrets coming up, the Phoenixes, they'll kill this dropship, barring a control mistake from Classic. But they won't be able to find much else than that for the time being, with Widowmines already in place. And we'll just get the 1 more probe here. That's all right. It's out of the range of the cannon, but the Oracle can always tag this. As long as it has enough energy, well, we'll get the Widowmine in burrow. But look at the army supply. Or basically just played standard while slightly ahead and just macroed like a god, and now he just has this nice advantage. Classic taking a 3rd base while also sustaining probe damage and going for Phoenix Tech isn't going to give him very many tools to deal with this heavy push that's coming across the map. We've seen Maru make mistakes with this push before on this map, wink wink, but you know, when you look at the game from the perspective of what we know to be true about StarCraft 2, this is going to be a very difficult hold for Classic.
He's going for Resonating Glaives. He's getting +1. Maru, in the meantime, is getting a 3rd base, which he's been doing more often against Protoss, which we weren't seeing earlier on this year because it was so hard against Phoenix and Death. But when you're this far behind, when you've sustained this much damage, it's going to be hard to hold off. Maru pushing on in with his Widowmines, always at the back, just defending, always threatening.
He only lost one Adept there. I actually like that Classic was able to whittle this army down quite a bit. The good targeting on the Adepts. He was doing it earlier. Nice force field here to kind of corral these units. And Maru's going to take this opportunity to commit in heavily. Phoenixes will get some lifts off, and the overcharge comes off here. And this is all without the range of the Widow Mines. Widow Mines are not in position here, but it's just too much. GG.
Maru, a simple play. Takes out the Oracle. That was step number 1. Step number 2 was the 8-kill Widow Mine drop that got a lot more damage in terms of mining time and just annoyances in taking it out. And then the follow-up push. Classic just couldn't hold on.
So puts him into a very difficult position with such a dominant game 1 as we move into Newkirk Precinct now. Don't think this will be the map that Maru proxies on, but who knows? We'll remember the TY Classic proxy from the 2014 Pro League Finals. He probably remembers. I wouldn't be surprised if he probe scouts early, just in case, since Maru has shown so many proxies on this map specifically. Seen it at an Innovation as well. Very common to see. We saw it when they faced each other in the round robin stage of Premier. But I think Maru's just going to play it straight up, tech up, play defensive, and look for an early edge, just as we saw on Daybreak.
Maybe just do the same thing. You know, go with what worked in game number 1. And either way, guys, we're going to jump into game number 2 on Newkirk Precinct. Here we are. Map number 2 of this PVT. Down in the bottom right, the Terran player. It is Maru.
And of course, his opponent in yellow to the bottom left, it is Classic. So here we go. This is going to be a very tense map for Classic. This map was very good for Stargate play, obviously, because even with the main base Stargate, you can fly across the map directly with your oracles. Later on, your Phoenixes potentially shut down drops to them and things like that. So you get an early amount of air control when air is the way to get across the map as the crow flies very quickly. And we'll see if that is going to be the tech here. Almost certainly will be from Classic, because that's the meta regardless of you know what map you're playing on. You see Stargate play on Whirlwind sometimes. So Classic will send the early probe scout out though, which is again not surprising considering the proclivity we've seen from Maru to proxy throughout Legacy of the Void on Newkirk Precinct since it's been added to the map pool. Comes in here to the main base, sees it's totally safe to now add his Nexus. Will do so promptly. So Nexus coming up, and Maru just gonna go scoutingless until or scoutless I should say, until the Reaper comes out, which is totally fine. Not as much Pro as can do. Looking for potentially a CC block here, but that's only going to be temporary.
Pesky probe. Scram.
Scram, yeah, here.
Pushed away. Here comes Maru's scout with the SCV. And no units over here just yet. So we can just walk on up.
Imagine if, you know, we've had a lot of announcer packs added to the game, right? Nathanius has his, Tesos one. Of course, I purchased all of them, so I want to support content creators that have been cast alongside us for years. But it'd be cool if they added just extra dialogue for the units. Just, you know, call back the old SCB voice actor and get him to be like, "Get here, probe, scram," when there's a probe, the natural, just for that specific moment. That would be cool for the players.
Might be hard to program.
Yeah.
Like every time a probe gets near an SCV, then it's like, "Get out of here, probe." It's like, well, actually, they both pulled workers and they're fighting a big battle.
Yeah, imagine like
you just like randomly hear that. It doesn't make any sense.
Imagine you pull the boys, you attack a Protoss, and he has to pull probes and like,
"Get out of here, scram."
The SCV is like attacking the Protoss's base, tells the probes to scram. Boys are here. Well, the Oracle is on the way. This is the way of things for this matchup. and it is going to be the same opening this time with the Hellions. Obviously, Maru is going to struggle to get the Reaper into the main base while doing all of this. It's possible, but not if he gets picked off by Adepts, so guess not.
And here come the Hellions across the map. I think Classic should be expecting this to some extent at this point. He's moving out on the map, though, here with 3 of his Adepts. Going to shade back and already damaged 1 of those Hellions. So definitely knows what's going on.
Yeah, much better start here for Classic this time. Ooh,
the maneuver.
Tactical maneuver. Oh, both Hellions get out, and now he gets into the main base. Well, scouts the Oracle, forces it to expend its initial energy to turn on its beam. So Maru is going to get a small edge from that.
And Classic going for Phoenixes again. Seems like he's pretty set on this Phoenix Adept kind of composition. Wants to play it standard. Adds a bunch more gateways now as he can.
Well, Widowmine number 2 is out, and we're just going to see that Phoenix transition. So Maru is building the same unit comp after this. Double Tech Labs coming down. The eBay, I believe, is already finished as well. If not, will be started soon. The +1. Okay, there's the eBay coming up. So he's going to transition into the exact thing that we saw last game. The difference being that he doesn't have this massive lead because of the tech of Classic really failing and also him killing so many probes while Classic took a greedy third base. This time Classic has the third base, but he's going to have better tools to deal with the push that comes across the map from Maru. We'll have the better economy. Shuts down this Hellion. And, you know, it's going to be a strong push that Maru can execute, but it's not just going to be he gets a free walkover, so to speak. So, yeah, I mean,
just a straight-up game from here on out.
Yeah.
I think Maru's going to do Maru things, potentially try to, probe wanted to die there. Probably try to go for attacks towards the third base with his entire army, especially when you're going up against all the Phoenixes. If you can hit that timing before he really powered into mass gateway, 8 gateway with Adepts, you can definitely hit a nice timing. But as I say that, we see charge added first by Classic. So perhaps wants to play a little bit more defensive, maybe go for charge zealot drops. He's also getting +1 armor.
I think Classic's identified that this game is likely to go the distance and wants to have this tool for harassment and defense. It's very popular right now with the reduced cost, a fairly recent patch. So I'm going to see these stasis wards be planted as well. This next phase of the game is going to be about Maru's timing attack because he still hasn't added a third CC. He really wants to commit heavily to this. Not going to miss any cycles of production on his attacking units coming out of the barracks, his Marines, Marauders, Widow Mines, Medevacs. Not cutting any of that to build a third CC. This doesn't bode well for him if this attack fails. It's not going to have much of a fallback plan for economy. Charge, however, not quite done. Should be done by the time the attack hits. A well-placed third base here for Classic, taking the further away base against Maru's very aggressive bio-push style. There are Widow Mines and dropships here, but with all the Phoenixes out, it's going to be very difficult to find an opening to get into the main base, as the Phoenixes actually look for even rally dropships potentially that he could pick off. That was actually really well done by Classic.
Yeah, I like what Maru's doing, just pushing out, seeing that he can't attack and just going back to his third, because if Classic is going to play this defensive off of that greedy third base, you know as well that you're not really going to get too much damage done. So you just come back to your third, defend it for now. But he is actually grouping up with the rest of his units that were produced. Maybe, he didn't want to let those reinforcements get cut off at all. And Maru is definitely one of these players that's known for trying to keep every single unit alive, and he wants to make this push as strong as possible, quite literally.
Yeah, the difference between Maru and Innovation in terms of these pushes is Maru is very meticulous about, is willing to have a later push to make sure that it's better, whereas Innovation is very timing based, wants to hit that window of time, wants to speed run the push. Good angle here from Maru, just using the Marauders at the front to pick off this pylon. This is using just a few units here, but you can respect his patience with this. Looking to grab an Archon as well. Widow Mine shots here, a decent amount of them going off on the Zealots as he kites back, and Zealots obviously very strong in the moment when they have their charge, but once that expires, the better mobility comes to the Terran army. A nice pick off here on the Warp Prism. Those Charge Zealot counterattacks we were talking about for the harassment, not going to be as effective when there's Vikings on the loose.
I like that play by Classic, just moving forward, lifting up all of the Widowmines that he had tagged, and then just going back. And as I say that, another big warp in of Zealots coming in here. It seems like Classic pretty confident to take this one, but the Widowmine's coming down again. Another huge lift. No shot's going to go off, but again, this isn't the depths, it's charge lots and Archons. The Archons can't get in range. Nice kiting here from Maru.
Maru's starting to lose hit points on these medevacs, though. Liberators will come out here in the nick of time. Archon's just barely surviving there. So tanky. I think they're really the MVPs of the fight, doing a lot of the tanking, really peeling for the Zealots there so that they could actually get in and then retreat. So kind of helping when the Marauders are trying to stim and chase, doing that extra damage, being super tanky, giving the longevity to that fight. Psystorm is on the way now, +2 coming out here. We are dead even in upgrades, but Classic is going to get them first. I believe the Warp Prism actually didn't die to the Viking because it has 77 of 80. So the Warp Prism is going to come back here. Gliski was just microing his army instead. And maybe this surprises Maru because his Viking is no longer in position. This turret is going to be too awful, but he does have a contingency of units back at home, and this will be shut down.
Yeah, good response. Seems like he knew it was coming back, even kind of sniffed the timing of it too. He's just like, okay, I'll have a group of units nearby just in case. And we do have Storm about to finish up here for Classic, so he's going to be in a really nice spot when that does hit. And his army is very expensive right now with all those High Templar that he's going with and the Archons that he has committed to just now. So Maru looking to hit a timing before that comes up, but he's already too late as Storm has completed.
Yeah, Storm's completed. He has High Templar here. I think he's got 2 Storms available. The Oracle is going to go down. Actually, more Storms than that. Look at this. So many High Templar he added in preemptively to the fight, but a good split here from Maru. Only a few Marauders eating the damage there, about 4 of them. These are going to really struggle to fight on this Rab against all the Psystorms, and they're right on top of the Widowmines and the Liberators, and also on top of his Phoenixes, but this is still a really good fight for Classic. Very cost efficient. The Stalkers get on top of those Liberators. If his Phoenixes hadn't died to the Psystorm, and I think 1 Widowmine shot, that would have been a big kill. We would have been able to chase down and kill every last air unit there. So
yeah, what an interesting fight. I don't think I've seen that many Storms hit Protoss units before. And Wolf definitely getting excited about that one.
Yeah,
but
I was.
Maru, trying to force the fight anyway. The Liberators definitely doing a number, but really nice Storms by Classic. Maru known for his courage to fight underneath the Storms and just split. Was trying to do a good job. And he's looking for the follow-up. Again, on this map, when you're going 3rd base to, in this case, Classic's 4th base, it's very short distance. You can stim across and just continue picking at units. Maru, he's shown that he can do this from time and time again against any composition.
I mean, Maru is the type of player who will fight down in tech and will out-micro his opponents. He's very famous for this for many years. Is kind of like what he's known for in terms of him being one of the horsemen. So comes in with the 2-2 upgrades on the way. They're nearly there. He's just trying to siege his way forward. This has always been the strength of Classic, though, is fighting against late-game Liberator tech with the switches into the Colossi, kind of switching constantly between those different types of AoE damage. Going back to the references I talk about in terms of SSL history, it's how he knocked Bjorn out of one of the 2016 SSLs. So very terrifying player in the late game. Maru's just trying to circumvent this, sieging up, playing passively, making this really a war of attrition, picking off units left and right. They'll look for some more here as he just sends a small contingent of units forward. Then when he kites back, the Liberators do the damage, they do the work.
Perfect location, position, I should say, for all the Liberators too. He baits out a Storm, that did basically nothing. That's a lot of energy used for 1 High Templar. And you can see Classic, he's getting impatient, he's going for the fight. Big Storms on all the Liberators in the front,
but a huge concave. The concave, way better.
Way too much.
And this was even without Liberator range here. No ghosts in the fight. It doesn't even matter. Maru will retain his spot in SSL Premier. GG.
Making it look easy. Takes down another Protoss, add another notch to his belt. We have our 3rd member in SSL Premier out of the 6 we've had from Fastlane. He gets a bunch of achievements for all of this, all that good stuff. But really making it look easy against Classic.
Classic frustrated, but he's not out yet. He still has one more opportunity. But that was definitely a rough series for him. Many people considered him to be the favorite based on the weak play we saw tomorrow in this matchup. On the matches we saw on Monday against Deer, really on Daybreak, that was the one that always stood out in my mind. But he looked a lot better prepared tonight. And he already had been preparing for the TBT matchup, going into the GSL semifinals, then of course moving into SSL, having the preparation, already playing against Protoss players, knowing he was going to face off very likely against one of two Protosses in this group, was ready, and he does advance. As we're going to have an interview in just a moment once that gets set up. I thought we were going directly to it.
All the cameras running over there, being wheeled on over. They're just waiting to start that good stuff, so...
All the fans are like run over to get pictures and stuff too. Or I was like, well, hold on, I gotta do my interview.
So to fix my makeup. But yeah, I mean, Maru made that look super easy. Kind of sad I doubted him, actually. But again, it really was because of his performances on Monday and even in Premier, where it was like, doesn't look quite as dominant, you know? And either way, we are going to get that interview in just a second.
Yeah.
We were joined by someone's hair.
That's right.
On camera.
It was quite good hair, to be honest, though. Yeah. I have to give it a thumbs up. All right, here we go. Soo-hyun's here. We're going to have that interview now.
Maru, going back to Premier. Congratulations. How do you feel? I lost a lot on Monday, so I came to let everything go. So I'm very happy that I could go back to SSL Premier. So how did you feel about Monday after the results of that? So I was very confident I could make it on Monday, but actually taking those losses was a big shock to me mentally. But it forced me to polish my play, and I think that's why I got good results today. Maru says for today, he was really trying to give it his best, and he was really just hoping that he could beat Byun, or actually avoid Byun, but he actually faced him in the first match and defeated him quite easily. So about playing against Byun, he felt like he would probably lose against Byun. But after winning that first game, he felt a lot more comfortable. Maru, is there a reason that you stick to the forward barrack strat?
And talking about the proxy on Newkirk.
Yeah. Maru says, one part of it is the mental aspect. If I keep going with this strategy all the time, it really questions, it forces the opponent to question what I'm going to do.
Yeah, like keeping him second guessing a little bit.
Yeah. Regarding his play style, Maru says, every once in a while he likes to play aggressive. And although sometimes he admits that he likes to play spontaneously, especially when he gets cheesed. He feels very strong about that, strong emotions. He wants to cheese back, strike back, get revenge. Inclusively, he says, maybe I should work on controlling my emotions a little bit better, grabbing his mental perhaps.
And maybe working on his personality, his stage presence.
So thoughts on qualifying for Premier?
네, 패스트레인 2일차에서 프리미어
He
승격에서
says, I'm sure a lot of people are disappointed with my placement in Premier last year, but I'm going to make sure this time I get a lot higher on the ladder, that is, and do a lot better in Premier.
That's right. So a weak performance out of him last season, but he's got a better shot this time. He definitely looks to be better in form after watching today's match, as I was a little bit worried about him getting out of the group after watching yesterday's, but Classic does have a another chance against one of the winners of the upcoming losers match between, of course, Bjorn and Patience. The winner will have another opportunity. So we've got 2 best-of-3s left this evening. It's getting a little bit heated. Maru's out of the picture. 2 crosses, 1 Terran remain.
Yeah. So as Wolf was saying, we are going to take a quick commercial break before going to that losers match. Stay tuned.